Hey guys, project-zodiac here. I'm back with another video, and this is another movie review. This is my review on the live-action How to Train Your Dragon movie, and I'm sorry it took so long to get this one out. It's been really busy, but I did watch it about a week or two ago, and I really liked it a lot, and I thought it was really good. So I'm not gonna go too in depth with it, just because my general thoughts on the original applies to this one, just because the movie is very faithful for it. So if you want to know my general overall thoughts on the story and my experience with the movie, please watch my review on the original How to Train Your Dragon movie. So for this one, I'm just gonna make it as a quick short review, basically just talking about the things that I thought about in regards to the live action format for it. There isn't really going to be any spoilers on this review, so there's nothing to worry about that. But if you just want my quick general thoughts, that's just basically this movie was really good. It's very true and faithful to the original movie, and I mean, there's some things that really this movie, this version of it, does better than the original. Now, do I prefer it over the original? Not really, just because of my biggest complaint with this movie, with this version. But really, it is so close to my enjoyment with the original. I would say it's maybe like a 0.5 points less than my points which I would have given for the original. So again, it's not really bad in that sense. So yeah, that's my general quick thoughts. For those of you that want to know a little bit more in depth, that's gonna be now. For those of you that don't want to stay, thank you for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you later. But for those of you that are staying, so the things that I like that this movie does really well is the costumes, the props, all of that is done really good. It's the same director from the original movie, and Stoic, Hiccup's dad, the voice actor from the original movie, is back Stoic in this movie. And I was actually very surprised to see his performance in this movie because it was so good. Like, the way that he handles Stoic in a live action setting is very impressive. So it's like he's just putting himself in the character almost. So I really like that. And a lot of the casting choices that they picked, I think, was really good and really well done. The actor for Hiccup, his mannerism is like Hiccup. So I thought that was really good. The actress for Astrid, yes, she's different in appearance than how she is from the original movie, but she works so well in this movie, especially when you start to see her lighten up, because for most of this movie she's pretty somber and dull, but you know that that is on purpose because she's trying to prove herself to everyone else. When you start to see her loosen up around Hiccup, especially towards the end of the movie, you get to see, Astrid. And that's normal because that's also how she kind of was in the original movie, except I feel like she was a lot more easy to be more laid back in the original movie. I think that that happened a little bit quicker than it does here. Um, and now for everyone else, I mean, everyone else is done pretty good. But then there goes into one of my complaints where it's like, for example, Fish Leg and Snot Now, they are very similar to their original version, and that's a good thing. But for some of the things that it's done, some of the way that the performances for these two were done is it just comes off as seem too similar to the animated movie. Some mannerisms, especially with Fish Legs, I thought that did not need to be done because it sticks out in a live action format. And same thing with Snot Loud, like some of the way that he acted is just really like the animated movie. And again, even Hiccup's actor, he acts like Hiccup does in the animated movie. However, the way he does it is not in a animated way. He does it in a more natural way. The actor for Fish Legs and Snot Cloud, they do it like a lot of scenes exactly like the same kind of mannerisms and eye movements even as the animated movie. So I think that that was a little too much into an adaptation. I think they could have just had them a little bit more regular, like the other characters, because they handled their characters being true to the original, but making it work in a live action way. Um, but again, it's not terrible. I think really the one that suffered that the most was those two characters. So it's okay. Another little complaint that I had with the movie was this movie is longer than the original by like 30 minutes, and I'm not sure how, because they don't really add anything new to it, and that's where my complaint comes from. They only add like a few sentences here and there. I think in the original, the twins were the same age as everyone else, but in this movie, they're much older. They're like 4 or 5 years older. Okay, it's not much older, but just a little bit older. Um, so that was one change. Another change that they did is having the Viking tribe in Berk be made from different Viking clans that gathered together to fight dragons. So I like that. That was really cool. They don't really do much with it. It's more of a visual thing. Um, and that's fine. It doesn't feel really distracting or anything like that. I thought it worked out. Um, and really, that's kind of about it. I think that there was a couple of like small little dialogue added in. Nothing too big. I think maybe there was a little bit more mentions of Hiccup's mom and a couple more mentions of Astrid and it's not loud trying to impress his dad. So just a couple little extra dialogue things here. And I think that that's why I can't really rank this much better than the original, but it's not worse. It's just because I do wish that they would have implemented a couple of new and additional things to it. Because the way that they kept it is really good, it's true to the heart of the original, and it works really well. But then you really want them to expand on a couple of things a little bit more. So I think that that really was just my complaint with it is I think they could have done a little bit more with that. That's my biggest complaint. Now, another smaller complaint that I have is that it does seem like a lot of the scenery is on a green screen in the background. And you can kind of tell because they filmed this movie, many parts of this movie, in a such a beautiful location. And when you can see that they're on location, like the hills, the grass, the mountains, the water, you can really tell the difference. So I thought that that was impressive, like how they were in such a beautiful place filming, but it feels like they didn't take full advantage of the place that they were filming because a lot of the background and a lot of the things does come off as seeming like it was done on the green screen and on a stage. So I didn't like that aspect, but just because of like they should have taken full advantage of where they were filming. But other than that, like when we see those moments, they're really nice. And another smaller complaint is that instead of adding more things that I would have wanted them to add, they actually removed something that's very important. It's the line of Hiccup saying like everything we know about all of you is wrong, like of the dragons, and him realizing that dragons are not fireproof on the inside as they are on the outside. That is something that is very important, and it sounds like a nitpick, but it's not because it's actually extremely important to the plot of the movie. So they removed that, and I don't know why. Because it kind of makes that important part seem kind of just like, okay, I guess that works. You're just gonna kind of go with it. I mean, they don't really address the other section of this. So I guess it doesn't make it seem like it's standing out too much. But still, if you watch the original, you would know exactly what I mean in regards to that particular part. Another thing too, I guess it's really just the last little complaint that I have with it is a lot of the dragon designs I thought was not going to work. in a live action way, because I knew that they were going to be very honest and truthful to the original designs. But I was actually surprised by how good their designs actually work. However, my complaint is in regards to Toothless. I think that Toothless works really well. I just think that they could have tweaked him a little bit more around the face and the bulgy things that's on like the back of his neck. I think that that could have been tweaked a little bit more because they didn't tweak him too much. The other dragons also weren't tweaked too much, but they were tweaked enough that it doesn't seem cartoony. It works really well. So I really like that a lot for the other dragons, but I do wish they adjusted it with Hiccup. Or not Hiccup, Toothless, sorry. But yeah, guys, other than that, this movie does a lot of. Oh, right. One last complaint, but it's not really a complaint. I would say that the first maybe 30 minutes of this movie, up to when they start training, is done better in the original movie. But then this movie does everything else a lot better. And that's now going into the positives of the things that I liked. So yeah, this movie, guys, it does the serious moments really well. There's some really tense moments. It handles the mature themes really good. It fixes a couple of little things from the original as well without changing things too much. So I really like that. And just like the performances, the way everything is set up, it just works so good, and I really like that. And yeah, like even the dragons designs, they look fantastic. I thought they were gonna look really CGI and really bad based off of the trailer, but seeing all of them, it was really surprising to see how well detailed they were. And in some shots it just looks like a giant creature over there. In some shots you can definitely tell it's just CGI, but in some shots it looks like there's this weight to it, and it just works so good. And the flying scenes is also really cool. Now, I love watching movies in 3D, but I didn't get to see this movie in 3D. If it's still available in a few weeks, then I'll try to watch it. But I mean, we got Superman coming out, Jurassic World, the new one just came out, and then we also got Fantastic Four. So I don't think I'll be able to see this movie in 3D unless it's online later. But what I really wanted to was see this movie in 3D because the flying scenes looked so amazing and breathtaking. But yeah, they done that really well. I also really think that the performances for the most part were all really well done. As I mentioned earlier, the props, the stage, the sets, everything of that was done really well. And yeah, I mean, there isn't really much else to say. It's just this movie really tackled the emotional cores of the original movie and does them again, but improves on them, makes them a little bit more memorable, a little bit more emotional in a realistic way. But again, I do rank it just slightly lower than the original by 0.5 points, just mostly because of the fact that I would have wanted them to do a little bit more with it, adding a little bit more extra things, and mostly just some of the character performances, specifically Fishlegs and Snotlout, that they're just straight out from the animated movie in so many ways, and it's really distracting compared to everyone else. So yeah, overall though, this movie is really good. I really recommend it, and I think the production for it was just so good. So I really recommend watching this one as well. But yeah, guys, that's my thoughts on the live action How to Train Your Dragon movie. Let me know what you think of this one compared to the other ones, and I'll see you guys later. Rate, comment, subscribe. Have a good night.